What's up, guys? It's Matt Jackson and Clay Smith, and we are the Wash Bros. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be season 3, episode 15. And if you can tell and you're watching live, you see we've updated the little overlays in the banner here. So we got the updated graphics. Give us a like or comment if you like that. I got Clay back here, and we're probably going to talk about how our May's doing and what we got in store and exciting updates and news of both of our companies. So you want to kick this thing off, Clay?
Absolutely. Hate I've missed a couple episodes. Obviously, been a little busy. Appreciate everybody listening and tuning in, especially when I'm not here. Yeah, like Matt said, we got a cool new looking overlay. It's always good to keep your content updated, refreshed. People get post blind. Cool marketing tip. Always make sure you're switching stuff up, keep things interesting. I know that it's really all about retention. How are you keeping people there? You know, if they're looking at the same old thing, same old two people every time that were, tuning in and listening to us, you may get tired of looking at the same crap. It's like looking at the same living room every time you go and sit on the couch. You got to switch it up every once in a while. So that's big into pertaining into your business. You do the same things, right? So that's what we like to do. We like to switch things up every now and again and keep on top of mind. Keep top of mind of people's in people's heads, and that's one of the key pointers in staying busy. Been a great year so far, especially for me. I know it's been a great year for Matt. This has been the best year that I've ever had. I think the last that I looked, we're up. I don't remember, Matt. I think I'm up like 40% for the year, which is freaking crazy. That's the best growth I've had year over year since I've started. Both trucks are knocking them out. I think that my technician, he has washed more houses than probably most full-time guys have or will this year already. So we're doing really good. I think we did right at 100 houses last year. We'll probably do 125 to 150 is what I'm going to push for this month as far as job count. And we got some good stuff in the works. Excited. I know that Matt's got some news for you guys. I'm ready for him to share it with you guys. But I'll let you take it away for a minute, Matt, and we'll talk more about how our spring's going.
Yeah, pretty much. And Clay's pretty much grown into the capacity that he's grown. Like he had that secondary truck last year. He was able to fill that truck in like the heyday of like what summertime pretty much. Now he's getting to fill it up a little bit earlier. So that's the exciting thing. As you guys grow, you get more depth throughout the year. So like that's huge. You go from like killing it yourself, doing like $30,000-$40,000 like by yourself, like sun up to sundown, 6-7 days a week. You start bringing on that other truck you have, you're able to spread that out through two guys, and then you're able to double your revenue. So it's exciting stuff. You got more margin, you got more space, you can bid on bigger opportunities. And that's kind of the direction we're headed to as well. So the last couple of years, we've been running off of 2 full-time trucks. And then as I was talking on our last episode, I like to like make my big moves every 3 years. So 2023, we added on that third truck. We went from kind of the model Clay's doing, was never as big and heavy as Clay when he was like when I was solo. So I added that truck. We got into like the 350 range revenues, started to fill that thing out. And then we've stabilized over the last couple of years. We pushed last year to be more into the commercial side of things. And so this year we've built on, and I actually just yesterday went down to Georgia, picked up a flatbed setup. So I got an 8 gallon machine, flatbed, all the all the things necessary to put this thing on the road as we're going to use it this week for commercial washing. So we'll have 3 trucks. It's a huge capacity I can fill into. So it's kind of like you go from being owner operator where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm booked out 3 weeks. Like it's a flex almost because you're busy. Congratulations. To like, okay, you build another truck. All right, now you don't have to work all the time. Your objective becomes filling up both of those trucks. And we were kind of at that point with 2 trucks where we're like super slammed. We want to bid more on commercial opportunities. We want to maintain our residential flow. We don't want to charge $800 or $1,000 for our residential customers and then like weed everybody out. And then we're really just relying on commercial. So we're doing everything we can to expand and grow. And it allows me to jump on opportunities, service these residential clients still within like that 1.5 week threshold that like our business kind of positions that, because that's one of our selling points against other people is like, hey, we're booked out until June. Well, that's not going to do you any good. We can get you on the books, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, within the next week or so, and keep the ball moving forward. So exciting for us. And then that extra truck not only is a capacity, so we don't have to work sun up, sundown. It allows us to like really focus heavily on commercial work where we can land big deals. We can price aggressively because everybody knows it takes being aggressive to win a lot of these commercial projects. So if we have 3 trucks, it's all about our day rates, how fast we can bang out work. And that's how you be aggressive. We're not stretching stuff out for 2 weeks. If we can hammer it out in 2 days, we can give them a great price, we can make our profit, and we can move on.
Yeah, that's one of the things I learned. It's not about how much money you can make; it's about how quickly you can move on that job, and without losing money. Obviously, if I can go out and I can bang out, you know, 10 buildings, if I can do it for $3,000 or $4,000 and I can knock it out in a day, that's more than I'm going to make doing residential. So if I have the capacity, I have the guys, I have the trucks, I have the equipment. If I can knock that job out in a day, I mean, we're killing it compared to everybody else. I mean, who else is going to go make $4,000 or $5,000 in a day? And most people are going to be bidding $7,000, $8,000. So that's how you get to the cheaper. Is making sure you're prepared. You have the equipment, you have the people, you have the manpower, and you can knock it out much quicker than say your owner operator guy like I was 7, 8 years ago, just 3 or 4 years ago when I was by myself. I'd have to charge $10,000 for a job that I can charge 5,000 for now, just because I have the people and I have the equipment that can get it done a lot quicker.
Exactly right. And it's not a race to the bottom here. It's just understanding the market. When we're in such a saturated market, when you have guys with huge capacities, like you got to be apples to apples with these guys. Otherwise, it's not fair. If you're a solo guy, one trailer, 1 8 gallon a minute machine, I don't recommend trying to compete with somebody because your pricing is going to be way off. And we see this all the time in the Facebook groups. Hey, I'm a newbie. I'm going to charge 23 cents a square for a vinyl siding house. Why is everybody killing the market? I want $900 for this house that takes anybody like us 20 minutes to do. That's not how it works. Sure, you can find the sucker that may buy for that, but like you're not doing yourself any good of a service, because when Clay and I are in and out within 30 minutes making $400 and getting referrals and then getting into bigger projects, that's our cash flow. We're making cash flow off of that. We're going after these bigger opportunities, like Clay was saying, $5,000, $10,000 commercial jobs. You're able to squeeze those in. Say you have an extra truck here that can run that residential route. You can stay up to pace. You're not getting your business destroyed because you're trying to just chase one job. Oh, that's gonna make my month, but they're not gonna pay you for 30 days, and then you're broke in the middle. So like we're expanding, we're keeping the ball moving, and like Clay says, you want to take care of work as fast as you can. So like don't lower your quality of work and don't lower that customer experience they have with you. Be fast, be efficient, and move to the next one. That's the name of the game. And we're not going to be, oh, I'm raising my price because of this, or I'm not raising my price because of that. Sure, understand your profit margins, understand what it takes to make money. But like if you keep bidding on stuff and losing all the time, that doesn't do anybody any good. So figure out what works for you. Figure out how you can be aggressive while still making money, and move the needle and grow your business. Like nobody cares about 20 years ago you could probably charge this price and make this money. Completely different ball game after COVID. And I've even noticed like this year and last year, it's just getting more and more aggressive. So do what you can to grow your business, evolve so you can better serve your customers. Go after bigger projects, make your capital money off of these commercial projects while still maintaining those $400 or $500 customers. And that way you're not sitting here saying, oh my gosh, my business is dead. I have to sell my rig. I just went down to Georgia and I just bought a rig off of somebody who was in that same situation. So it's one of those deals. Like, don't let your ego get in the way. Run your business in the ground because you're stubborn, and then end up selling your business.
Absolutely. I mean, I've killed it in residential work this year, but I've lagged commercial work. So I had to sit back and figure out what the hell I was doing wrong. But it's just like I had that guy the other day. Me and Matt talked about it. I had a guy reach out to me, and thankfully I knew him a little bit. And I was like, look, man, I'm tired of wasting my time giving commercial quotes. Where do I need to be to get this job? Like, where do I need to be? I don't want to waste my time. If I can't, let's just be straight up here. If I can't, you know, get this job, there's no sense in me bidding on it. So where do I need to be number wise? Because and no exaggeration, I've probably done $300,000 in just commercial quotes this year. And if anybody knows, it doesn't take, you can't just put a commercial quote quick together like you can a residential bid. So just try to figure out the market. You got to relearn the market, figure out where you want to be without losing money. I'm not going to go work for free. We have killed residential this year. It's been the best residential year I've ever had. 40%. Like I said, we're up 40%. So that's killing it. We're just lacking our commercial. If I could land a lot of the commercial that I've had opportunities of getting, I'd probably be up 60, 70%. I mean, and that's just going off of revenue. So pretty cool to know the potential of things, even when you're doing good. I'm one of those guys that if I am doing good, I'm always still looking to do better. I never get comfortable. I'm always uncomfortable, always looking to do better. Okay. No matter how good it is, I'm always looking to be better.
Exactly. I think that's a healthy strategy, and it's like the guy's successful in his business not because like he's forcing it. It's just the personalities that most of these people have. You're an A player. You're charging ahead. Like, hey, these are my expectations when I wake up every single day. This isn't fake. This isn't phony. I'm not trying to compete with you for my ego sake of like how do I appear in the community. I'm like, hey, I wake up, this is what's like, whether you call it anxiety, drive, whatever you want to call it, it's like, this is my goal. I'm moving the ball forward because I need to feel productive. I need to do stuff. And then I need to serve my community, my employees, and grow my business. Because at the end of the day, like, business is not about your feelings. It's not about, oh, look at me. Like, it's about making money and moving the ball forward. So if that hurts your feelings, probably shouldn't be in business. But in the reality of the fact, like, you can pick whatever venue, whatever vehicle you want to grow and make money in business. Clay and I both love pressure washing. It's great because there's so many different areas you can pursue in this. I've got some like monthly or bi-weekly cleaning contracts for like restaurants. They're not sexy, but hey, I look at that entire year, that one like bi-weekly stop is going to be, or a bi-monthly stop is going to be like $10,000. Okay, cool. I can stack 10 of those and that's $100,000. Like, commercial allows you to grow in different ways than just the residential. Let me pressure wash your house for $300 every 3 years. Like, Clay's killed it in residential. He's outpacing me in residential on volume because I've been shifting and focusing a lot more on commercial outreach. And I also am not ranking at the top of LSA. Like, Clay's done a great job of positioning himself high on Google. So like, it's the ebb and flow of business. Like, he's able to capture a lot of new residential customers, whether it's through his Facebook almost syndicate stream with the groups, or whether it's with LSA. Like, it's stuff always shifts. So you always have to have multiple irons in the fire. You can't just say, "Oh, I've been pressure washing. Everybody knows who I am. I don't need to put in the work. I don't need to evolve. I don't need to grow." I mean, case in point, Clay's outpacing me here on residential. So you always have to be aware of what's going on, what's the direction of business, how are you positioned on certain things. Like, you can be the top dog on one area, the next year you're not. Whether it's your doing or whether it's not your doing, you got to do everything you can to grow so you are protecting yourself from that. Or Clay's point, you get a huge opportunity. Hey man, can I clean 1,000 buildings? Wow, that's huge. How could I do that? If you're not set up, or if you're not thinking correctly, that's going to break your business. But if you are set up for it, you can really grow, and that could say, wow, that just created $200,000 or $100,000 opportunity that I didn't have before. And you either grow into that, or you say, oh, I'm going to turn that down because I can't currently do it with my mindset, or I can't currently do it with my amount of trucks. So like, it's exciting with commercial, but you got to be strategic. And that's kind of the cool area where we're both growing in. And there's no like one size fits all, because you can make plenty of money on residential, you can make plenty of money on commercial. It's just like how hard you want to work.
Absolutely. It gets easier year over year. Like, I don't feel like I've really stressed. I mean, we've been so busy. I haven't really stressed about putting more into my marketing. It's just the consistency in putting my name out there year over year, doing a good job for people, following up with people, setting up those automated emails that follow up year after year. There's just so many different things that go into it that make it easier. And if you could do those in the early stages, I know there's a lot of new guys that listen to us. If you could do the important things in the early stages of your business, and you could do them consistently, that it dramatically pays off. I mean, the longer I'm in business, the easier it has been as far as getting phone calls, getting return customers, getting referrals, word of mouth. You may have watched something 2 years ago, and a family member told their uncle to call me because I did it 2 years ago. And that's just something that, and that you got to make sure when you're done cleaning that you give them a reason to remember you. And I've said this so many times on this podcast. There's been so many times I've went out and washed a house and they really liked their last pressure washer, but they didn't give them any card. They didn't give them any reason to remember them. They didn't follow up with them. They didn't send the automated emails. there's so many things that can get lost. You know, we're so busy day to day, it's hard to remember. And there's so many of us, especially in our market. There's so many pressure washers in our market that it's easily to get us confused. I think that we've had certain instances, me and Matt have, just between us, that they thought they used Matt, but they really used me, and vice versa. We've had the same thing happen, and it's just with us being, or with me being a rookie. I mean, I've left stuff in the cracks before just trying to get on to the next job, that I didn't give them a reason to remember me. I didn't get that email. I didn't get that phone number. There was something that went wrong just because I was so busy without systems that stuff just slipped through the cracks.
No doubt. There's been countless times where they're like, "Yeah, you pressure washed us last time," and I'm like, "Nope." They're like, "You're the blue truck." I'm like, "Nope." So it's like, hey, it's not personal. I mean, think about like if you guys are using uh like how many times you go to your favorite restaurant and then you cheat on your favorite restaurant with another restaurant. Like it's not personal, it's business. And stuff changes. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, that guy, I just saw his Facebook ad, I'm going to give him a shot." The other guy's great too, but like it's not personal to people. So you got to do everything you can to be top of mind, stay in front of people. And also to Clay's point, you never know when you're talking to somebody. I got a job cleaning the Greenville County Tax Office. That was a super cool job that we did. High visibility. We did a branding video, and it was like $3,000 for the day. So like it was checked all the boxes. We pressure washed somebody's house, and there was a referral to the guy that worked at that building company. He's like, "Oh, hey, you got to use this guy." So like I didn't even market directly to that contact I had to do this cool commercial building we did. It was just off of a basic house wash. So if you're showing up and you're like, "Oh, this is like a $300, $400 job," whatever your minimums are, you never knew who that person is. Like my contact, I pressure washed this guy's house. He works at this massive pharmaceutical company. We did like $50,000 of work for them in the past 2 years off of a basic 400 something dollar house. I don't even think we've washed his house since that first time, but he's fed us through his main job. Same situation with Presbyterian, our college. Helped the guy out, wash his basic house, like $300, like back in 2020 something. We've working with him, pressure wash the university. You never know where these leads are going to come from. You never know what kind of relationship you're building, even if it's not directly. There's so many times where like, "Oh, I've seen what you do online. Like, can you help us out here?" And that's huge. And then the big thing is like after a few years, you get to the point where you're filling your schedule. You can survive. You can do this full time, and then you're building a truck. That's great. And then you can put an employee on that truck, and then you can build another truck, and then you have two trucks, and then you just stack, stack, stack. And then your objective, like where Clay and I are, is to keep everything moving. It's like if I can keep my guys busy and pay them and they can make their money for the day, I'm going to win. And that's the reframe, because it isn't about how are you like pricing this job individually to make as much profit on this job. It's about how can I manage 1,000 jobs a year or 700 jobs a year, and how can I keep my guys fed as long as I can throughout the year. Because when you go and do your taxes, you'll be like, "Oh man, I made $150,000 off of this, and I was just making sure that I was feeding everybody around me." Like it's a different game as you level up and grow. But if you can never level up and grow and get past that stage of like, "I'm an owner operator, I charge 12 cents a square for this, or I charge 20 cents a square for gutters, or I charge this, or I charge that," you're so stuck in the weeds, you're going to miss growing the business, and you're going to miss evolving into the different leadership roles that are required to manage the business that you've built.
Absolutely agree with everything you said. The instance I was talking about a minute ago, I just bid $80,000 worth of work, and there's a very high chance that we're going to go ahead and close that just because I washed the dude's house 3 years ago, and he remembered that I pressure washed. So uh, it's just, you never know. It's always a job interview. You never know who owns what. You know, we washed the dealership because we washed the owner's house, you know. So it just turned out that he knew everybody that I knew in the car world. But I went out and I watched. There's a lot of commercial work that will begin with residential work because these guys work at these nice places that need pressure washing as well. So it's always nice to make sure that you're taking care of those residential people because you never know where the opportunities may lead. Like Matt said, just off a $400 wash, it could lead you to 100 grand. It could lead you to 400 grand. You just never know what kind of contracts you can pick up just by doing a good job at this person's house.
And that's where Clay and I have been able to get into commercial work without necessarily like cold calling in. I know we talk about it, and yeah, I know like you kind of want to be like professional about like going into these accounts because that's the fastest way to grow. But if you're leading in residential and you're pressure washing guys who have nice houses, they probably have businesses, they probably work fancy places, they see you in the community. You're building that trust off the bat. So unlike a traditional commercial focused company where you're like in unbranded trucks, you're like cold calling your way in, like they have to sell themselves hard on the front end. Whereas if you're doing like the Wash Bros blueprint, if you're like me and Clay, you've established yourself as a community, as a player already in the area, and you say, you know what, we can do that as well. Like there's already trust, there's already brand, there's already recognition there. So like it's easier, I think, to go into that and say, hey, look, this is what our team can do. Like boom, boom, boom. All it takes is like a warm introduction, and then there you go. As opposed to if you're like knock, 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 I'm coming in completely cold. I I don't have a lot of proof. So it's it's easier to grow once you built the machine. And like Clay and I both have built the machines, and we're at that point now where we're trying to figure out where we want to drive and how can we best utilize what we built. So it's exciting. And then too, like Clay getting a conversation, you're getting in with these big property management groups or like ownership groups where they're like, we more so want you to be able to get this done more than anything. So like pricing, yeah, pricing's important, but like the capacity of work there is going to be like, it's going to take somebody with a certain size business to get it done. They're not trying to find some owner operator guy to bang out 1,000 spots because they know you're not going to be able to do that. They want it to be professional. They want you to have systems. They want you to have teams. So when you're in a neighborhood, people see and there's safety procedures and there's some form of like uniform control there. You're not just a bunch of guys on 4 gallon a minute machines hammering out these huge projects. So like that's where you grow and naturally evolve into. And us kind of bringing on a third truck allows me to like pull trucks, get into that stuff too, but also be able to put a truck on a commercial job for $3,000 a day and then run our regular $1,500 routes for residential or $1,000 route for residential. And then we're making our combined money of like $6,000 a day off of utilization of all trucks, making sure everybody's covered. So that's the goal. I'm going back to square one. I'm going to have to aggressively start to market hard because I got this new truck. So it's like with every truck, you're almost opening a new business. It's like, yeah, we've got word of mouth, we've got the systems built, we've got our market in the community, but I got to figure out how to come up with another $30,000 a month. So it's it's fun. You just got to keep everything rolling and keep the momentum going because you can get into trouble when you're getting into your slower season. Say you got a lot of overhead with all this stuff and you don't have places to fill it. That you either got to lay off your guys, you got insurance you got to cover, you got to figure out how to make the math work when it's not peak season. But with us, we're trying to kill it in peak season, put our money aside so we can kind of roll out the slow season.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, every time you add a truck, you're initially just starting another business. But the good thing about it is we already have the brand. We've already have our processes together. It's just all about really the marketing and how we're going about it and how to fill those trucks. The cool thing is you already have 2 trucks. With those 2 trucks, you're already busy with those 2 trucks. Basically, you're using the third essentially as an overflow. And then, like you said, getting that more commercial work. So it makes it easier. So I know that a lot of guys, they're not on this level. They probably don't understand the things that we're saying, but it's good that you're, I guess, inhaling the stuff that we are saying because it prepares you to get to where we are. And that's the coolest thing about business. You know, some of the guys come to these podcasts and they try to listen. They listen to gurus, and a lot of the things are just AI generated, or either they've never been in that situation, or either I actually just came across a guy a couple of days ago when I was looking. This guy made himself out to be a guru, really just a sharp guy in our business industry. How he portrayed himself on, I'm not going to say any names, but I'll have to tell Matt after the show. But he really portrayed himself as a businessman online in his videos and really showed everyone that he was like a multi-million-dollar guy. Like he really did this. And then I seen the other day that he had a regular job. So I don't see how it's possible to be that successful. You've got to be very careful on who you listen to. Do your research, do your Google, just do your research on these guys that you are trying to learn from, because a lot of the people have not been in the situations that me and Matt have, and able to give the advice that we're able to give you.
Exactly right. And it's easy. Like if people are doing a certain volume, expect a certain amount of results on Google. So if they have a pressure washing business and they don't have a ton of proof of that, they probably aren't doing what they're saying. Like if you're doing $500,000 a year or plus, or $300,000 a year, you've been in business for any amount of time, you better have like 300, 400, you better almost have 100 reviews per every year you've been in business, because that's kind of a general trend that I'm seeing on my end, unless I'm like really pushing reviews or maybe getting some fake views pushed in there. Because sometimes that's also a red flag. If you see a guy who's been in business for 5 years and they have 2,000 reviews, that, unless they've scaled massively in a massive market, like that's kind of hard to do. Like we are doing 800 to 1,000 jobs a year, and we maybe get 10% of those in reviews. So, and then we also got a lot of repeats too. So it's like sometimes the biggest thing is just like growth isn't linear. I use AI all the time. AI feeds me BS half the time. I can get good information off of it. I can get a good general idea and a good direction, but what comes through is your experience, your knowledge, and just figuring out how to zigzag through it. So, like everybody has a business plan. It's all going to be BS. It's like my favorite quote is like that Mike Tyson's like everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. It's like what you do when you get back up, and how often you show up. That's what separates you from a guy that's pressure washing for 5 years, pressure washing doing this as an owner operator, pressure washing doing this as a business owner, doing whatever you're doing long term. It's like, okay, you get the information needed, whether you're listening to our show, reading our books, using AI, watching gurus, or just figuring out yourself. Like every piece of information, there's one tidbit you can probably take and apply today and benefit yourself. Like don't take everything we say as like the only way of doing it, just like you shouldn't take every coaching course or every mastermind group as that. Like there's one piece of information that you may hear today or anything you do that will shift like your idea on everything. And it's important that you are actively doing it, because there's a huge difference between like applied knowledge and just knowledge. Like the book knowledge Clay's talking about. Anybody can just run this stuff through AI and say like come up with this coaching program and they'll generate everything perfectly. But if you know what you're doing, I can look at it in 10 minutes and say that's all bullshit. And so it's like AI will never replace people, but it'll help people who are using it more so than people who are not using it. But you got to be competent enough to know what's BS and what's not. And that's where the value add we try to be with the Wash Bros is like you can see our growth curve. You can see our lessons. Like I just purchased a truck yesterday. So you get to see like the rest of this year, I'll probably be talking about how we're filling it. What is our failure? Like what we're doing to try to add essentially another business to what we currently are running. So like it's kind of exciting. It's like journaling. It's that slow, consistent growth forward, and it's not sexy. It's just like, hey, show up every day. I got a bunch of bullshit going on today. Like, let me bitch about it. And then you zoom out and you're like, oh, we grew a ton. But like in the moment, it feels like you're just bitching about stuff. So
Yeah, pretty much. I always say like I said earlier, the longer a business, the easier it gets, and the easier it gets to deal with the bull crap, like what you talking about. So I learned to just smile through all the bull crap.
yep.
Just because I mean, what are you going to do? You can get pissed off, stressed out, whatever, but it's not going to get any better. So just smile through it. And like I say, it just gets easier as it goes on. But we're coming up on that 30-minute mark, Matt. Like I say, I appreciate everybody listening. Thanks for tuning in. We have a lot of followers. We appreciate every one of y'all. Make sure you follow our Facebook pages, the Wash Bros Podcast Facebook page. My personal page is Clay Smith. You can find me on there, see all my personal stuff going on. I do talk about business on there as well. C3 Wash Pros is my business page. You can find me on there. Follow Matthew Jackson on his personal page, and Matt the Driveway Guy, which is his business as well.
Yep. And make sure check us out. Washbrospodcast.com. We have kind of a hub site where everything is there. If you guys want to check out our books, or you want to check out past episodes, you can learn a ton of stuff there. So make sure if you have any questions too, check us out on our school community. All those are linked, whether it be washbrospodcast.com or on our Facebook page. But that's everything I have. Hope everybody gets a great start to May. May is usually the best month for pressure washing. May, June is where you're making your number. So take everything we're talking about, motivate yourself, and just put the pedal down and kill it for the next couple months. So see you guys.
All right, guys.